Israel in Egypt. We're at the end of 3 months study through the book of Genesis, from our origins through the broken relationship between humanity and God with its consequences, through God's attempts to re-establish it and to offer us a path of restoration. God's outreach found ground in Abraham and it was developing through his descendants, Isaac, Jacob, his 12 sons. There was drama, there was dysfunction, but there was also openness to let God lead and change. This was making the difference. We looked at Joseph and his extraordinary journey through suffering and glory. Now, at the end of the book, things looked nice on one hand. Israel's family got reunited. There was repentance, forgiveness, reconciliation. Just one thing, though, feels off. Instead of settling in the promised land, they are leaving it and are settling in Egypt. It doesn't make sense for a finale. And it's not a finale. This is what this week's study reflects upon. The main parts of this lesson as I see them are: Israel goes and settles in Egypt, then the blessings of Jacob, and reflections on the hope of the promised land. Jacob is revived by the news and hope that Joseph is alive. He wants to go to him, but how about God's plan and the promised land? God talks to Jacob and encourages him for the journey. He reaffirms the promise to make him great nation and that he should not fear. The journey with God often takes turns that may not make sense to us, but it's for greater purpose than just us and our understandings. It's about blessing others. It's about being part of the greater plan of salvation. So as they settle in Egypt, they understand that it's temporary. It's amazing the discernment and the wisdom with which Joseph handles the process. He knows that sometimes good intention may have bad consequences. Pharaoh may want to incorporate Joseph's family more in the Egyptian government and life, but this is not the purpose, and Joseph handles it with diplomacy so that they can get a place to live, to work, and also have the option to leave when the time comes. Then Jacob blesses his Pharaoh. This is amazing. Blessing a pagan priest, blessing a pagan divinity as Pharaoh was considered. God can use anything and anyone in his plans. Talking about blessings, the end of Genesis is about Jacob blessing his sons, starting with Joseph and his 2 sons, in a sense, elevating Manasseh and Ephraim to sons of Jacob from grandsons, and then going through the others, reflecting and prophesying on their characters and how they develop in their future, with prophecies about returning to the promised land, a lineage of kings, and references about the Messiah. Genesis ends with the death of Jacob. Also the fear of Joseph's brothers that he may still want a payback. But then his testimony and reassurance that God's purpose is much bigger than them. And finally, the death of Joseph. But these deaths end with a look forward into the future, looking at a return to the promised land. So, the end of Genesis is an overture of human history. It took us from the origins, through the breakage, to a new setup for a journey of redemption. What will I take from this lesson now in one tweet? #lesson-in-one. The journey to the promised land sometimes may go through settling in Egypt. Be a blessing in all circumstances. Trust and follow God wherever He leads. I hope that you enjoyed the study through the book of Genesis. Next week we will begin a new quarter and a new study. It's entitled In the Crucible with Christ, and it's a reflection on the big questions around human suffering.